Truth always surfaces, even when someone attempts to bury it. That's just what occurred when Kody Brown, once the demure devoted third wife of Kody, rose up in court with proof that would destroy Robyn Brown forever. She wasn't battling for justice alone. She was battling to expose a years-long pattern of deceit concealed behind false smiles and subtle manipulation. This isn't from a TV reality show. It's what happens when the cameras stop rolling. And in this court, there were no producers, only repercussions. It began on a quiet Tuesday night. Kody Brown, now remarried to David Woolley and living happily ever after in Utah, was cleaning the kitchen counter when she saw something odd, a plain brown envelope lying on the floor just inside the front door. No postage, no name, no return address, just a post-it on the outside that said, "She's been keeping it all a secret. You have a right to know." David told her to throw it away. But Kody felt this odd intuition. That sort of note only got written by someone who knew something true. She had 3 things inside: a USB stick, a typed-up folded letter, and a printed list of bank transactions that led to only one name: Robyn Brown. Kody sat at her computer, inserted the USB, and what she saw chilled her blood. It indicated more than $130,000 worth of transfers from the Brown Family Trust into a private LLC in Robyn's maiden name, Sullivan Estates, LLC. Jewelry buys, a $14,000 school fee payment, luxury spa charges, all made out. After Kody had moved out from the family, she had kept quiet long enough. Kody lay awake that night. Those figures on that spreadsheet haunted her. She sat by herself on the porch, the mountain air nipping at her flesh. She could still hear Robyn's voice calling out from years past. "I just want peace in the family." Peace, Kody thought. Or power? The following morning, she went to a lawyer's office with the envelope in her hand. At the end of the week, it was done. Kody Brown was suing Robyn Brown for fraud, financial coercion, and conspiracy. The legal complaint stunned everyone. It alleged Robyn had secretly transferred more than $130,000 from the family trust into her personal business account, used them to pay for jewelry, private school, home renovations, and high-end travel, pressured Kody to cut off Kody from the family account after she broke the news of her departure in 2021. Even worse, Kody claimed that Robyn had secretly manipulated Kody into signing off on those funds without the other wife's consent. Twitter went wild. #TeamKody began trending within hours. Fans who had always suspected Robyn of having too much control over Kody were finally vindicated. Kody offered no public statement, only a brief message on Instagram. "Truth always rises. Protect your peace, even if it costs you everything." The other wives, meanwhile, each reacted differently. Janelle Brown was the first to call. Her voice was trembling. "Kody, are you serious? You really think Robyn did all that?" Kody paused. "No, Janelle, I don't think she did it. I know she did." There was a silence from Janelle, followed by a sigh. "If that's true, then we were all used. Every single one of us." It was the start of a huge realignment. Meri Brown, meanwhile, didn't comment publicly, but insiders within the family told her she was deeply conflicted. Meri had been pushed to the sidelines for years, feeling emotionally cut off, while Robyn became more powerful. And now, Robyn's facade was beginning to crack. Even Peden, Kody's outspoken son, took to TikTok with a cryptic post. "Let's just say some couples didn't marry for love. They married for legacy." But it wasn't only family or followers on high alert. TLC executives were surprised. They had understood the show was dramatic, but a real-life courtroom battle between wives, that was something different altogether. Confidential sources said the network suspended spin-off talks with Robyn and Kody upon hearing of the suit. They didn't want to be putting out a story where Robyn was the bad guy. And what of Kody Brown? When the lawsuit was made public, he released a statement via his attorney. "These are false claims, and a product of personal bitterness. I stand behind Robyn as the only wife who has been loyal, truthful, and honest." But the harm was already done. Kody's lawyers had bank statements, emails, and even voice memos between Robyn and Kody, all about how to divide the money now that Christine's gone. One memo even included Robyn saying, "Just take her off the account already, Kody. You promised you would." Christine had kept quiet long enough, but as she was about to enter court, she couldn't stop thinking about the same seething question: who sent the envelope? Someone in there had betrayed Robyn, a person who knew it all, and that secret would shake the courtroom to its foundations in the next chapter. The courtroom was full. Fans waited outside on the sidewalk. News trucks encircled the building, and inside every seat was occupied. There were no TV cameras present, but hundreds of court sketch artists occupied the benches, each hoping to record the moment the Brown family melodrama became actual legal warfare. Christine slipped in quietly, dressed in a dark green suit and clutching a thick folder. She passed by Robyn without so much as a look. Robyn sat stiff at the defense table in pale blue, flanked by big-shot lawyers. Kody wasn't far behind, sitting behind her, arms crossed tight across his chest, jaw set. Everyone was aware this was more than just a civil hearing. This was a reckoning. The judge scheduled the case. Brown v. Brown, Civil Case 4128, allegation of financial fraud, misuse of trust funds. Christine's attorney started out strong. This isn't just about money. This is about manipulation, betrayal, and the systemic siphoning of resources meant to support multiple wives and their children by one woman who put herself first above all. Robyn's lawyer objected, but the judge permitted it. Then there was the evidence. Christine's lawyers showed dozens of financial records extracted from the original USB. Among them $12,800 spent at an upscale boutique under emergency family expenses, $18,400 paid as a school donation, but just Robyn's kids. A $22,000 wire transfer to Sullivan Estates LLC, the clandestine company listed under Robyn's maiden name. The courtroom fell silent. Even Kody blinked in disbelief when the spreadsheet was shown. And then there were the audio recordings. Christine's attorney knocked on the laptop. A voice boomed through the courtroom. It was Robyn. "Kody, she's no longer your wife. Why is she still making charges? You have to cut her off." Then came the voice of Kody. "I know, I'll take care of it. We just have to leave it clean." Gasps filled the room. Robyn covered her face with her hands. Kody appeared dazed. Perhaps he'd lost his recall about what he said. Christine hadn't. She didn't blink. Then a witness was summoned. Jessica Fields, a previous accountant for the Brown family's joint LLC. She strode confidently into the witness stand. "I worked with the family for more than a year. At first, all of the wives had oversight on spending. But later in 2020, Robyn started asking to have reports done privately. She wanted me to conceal some transactions and give them the designation of general family care. When I would not do it, I was fired." Christine locked gazes with her. She'd never seen this woman before, but she knew this was more than she knew. The judge leaned forward. "Did she instruct you to mischaracterize Christine's access?" "Yes," the accountant said. "She told me Christine no longer had full access because she was choosing to leave the lifestyle." Robyn's lawyer objected again, this time requesting a recess. Denied. Christine prepared to testify second. Her voice was firm, but her eyes blazed with decades of silence. "I was a wife, a mom, a constructor in that household. I cleaned homes, sold jewelry, shot 17 seasons of this show, and I never took $1 more than I was owed. When I left, I didn't seek revenge. I sought peace. But when I watched that money being diverted, money to my children, I knew I had to do something." She gazed at Robyn. "You always said you didn't want to be the favorite wife, but you behaved as if you were the only one that counted." And then the unexpected occurred. The judge inquired, "Is there any further witness?" Christine hesitated. Her lawyer rose slowly. "Yes, Your Honor, there is, but we were not certain whether she'd appear." From the rear of the courtroom a figure rose. Gasps once more. It was Aurora, Robyn's very own daughter. She walked hesitantly to the front. Christine's eyes expanded. "I mailed the envelope," Aurora stated, cracking voice. "I was looking through some of the files in this locked drawer. I figured Christine should be informed. Mom always told her she was selfish. But when I looked at the bank records, I knew who was really selfish." Robyn's jaw fell open. Her hands trembled. Kody whispered, "Aurora, quit doing that." But she continued, "I adored her as a second mother while growing up. She did not deserve to be removed from the family just because she defended herself." The courtroom fell into stunned silence. Christine was weeping, soft tears, not for winning, but for vindication. This was no longer about money. It was about truth. And now that truth had a voice from within Robyn's very own home. The judge was silent for a full minute after Aurora's tearful admission. The entire courtroom was motionless. No phones ringing, no murmuring, only the hum of courtroom lights, and the gentle sound of Robyn's quiet weeping. Christine studied her hands. She was no longer shaking. She didn't come for vengeance. She came for truth. And now the gavel was going to fall. The judge cleared his throat. Upon reflection on the evidence, such as financial statements, voice communications, and testimony of witnesses, specifically a credible insider, I conclude that Robyn Brown did actually misuse Brown family trust funds for her own use. In addition, the evidence indicates intentional attempts to deny Christine Brown access to communal financial resources, following the annulment of her spiritual marriage to Mr. Brown. He spoke to Robyn, who was blankly staring forward. "You are hereby ordered to pay back $137,000 to the Brown Family Trust, and another $25,000 in punitive damages to Christine Brown personally. Also, a formal investigation will be initiated to ascertain if federal fraud charges could be applicable, based on the misrepresentation of LLC status and abuse of pooled funds across state lines." The courtroom gasped. Fraud charges. This was no longer family drama. It had gotten criminal. Christine's breath was stuck in her throat. It was over. The courtroom bailiff stood when the judge left. Robyn sagged into her chair. Kody leaned over, attempting to soothe her, but Robyn flinched away, muttering something no one quite heard. Christine rose to her feet. She approached Aurora, still seated on the witness bench, drying her face. For a moment they gazed into each other's eyes. A silent nod traveled between them. Gratitude, respect, perhaps even closure. Outside of the courthouse, journalists clustered on the steps. "Christine, anything to say? Do you feel vindicated? Was Aurora your secret witness the whole time?" She paused, looked straight at the cameras. "I didn't seek this fight, but I wasn't going to continue to let others tell me what happened. I stood up for myself, for my children, and for every woman who's ever been told to shut up for the sake of the family." Then she descended the stairs, hand in hand with David, her husband, who had stood in silence in the gallery the entire time. He planted a kiss on her forehead. "You did it," he breathed. Inside, the tension was volcanic. Kody paced outside the side door, face aflame. Reporters attempted to obtain a comment from him, but he brushed them away. "It's all lies. Just media bull." But it wasn't bull anymore. It had been court-recorded reality. Janelle, who had flown in but remained quietly in the back, finally emerged outside the courthouse to confront Christine. "I'm sorry it came to this," she said. Christine nodded. "Me too. But it had to be." Then Janelle, fighting tears, added, "You were right. She stole everything. And I didn't want to believe it." Back in Flagstaff, Robyn retreated into the house. Neighbors went days without seeing her. Aurora was shipped off to live with a relative. Gossip circulated that Kody was calling, attempting to have Robyn's name cleared. But it was too late. The perfect portrait of Robyn as the obedient wife had been shattered, and in its place was the one woman fans had underestimated for so long. Christine, stronger, clearer, and finally free. A week had elapsed since the judgment. Christine was sitting on her back porch, sipping a hot cup of tea in her hand, as the Utah sun set behind the Wasatch Mountains. The air was lighter. Not around her. Not in her either. She wasn't looking over her shoulder for the first time in years. There were no secrets anymore to be unearthed. No lies hiding behind mutual smiles. Just tranquility. Christine speaks out. On a bright Monday morning, Christine posted a video to her social media called, "My Truth, My Peace." She sat serenely next to David, her voice unshakable. "I never desired a battle in court. I simply wanted honesty. Too long I was instructed to keep the family image clean. Real healing only happens when you no longer guard the people who shattered you. She paused and smiled to the camera. To the women watching this, your silence is not your strength. Speaking up is. The video went viral. Millions viewed. Thousands responded. And hashtags such as #justice for Christine and #Robyn exposed went viral for days. The family fractures. For good within the Brown family. The battle lines had been drawn. Robyn disappeared from sight. TLC allegedly halted shooting indefinitely. Rumors circulated that Kody was attempting to sign on for a tell-all documentary to set the record straight. But even die-hard fans were tuning out. Janelle went on Instagram Live. Mere days after the verdict. I believe Christine. I always did. I was just afraid to say it out loud. But no more. Meri spoke up too, cryptically posting loyalty without truth is just manipulation. Her comment section blew up. It was clear the sisterhood was gone. The dream of one big family had cracked years ago. Now it was officially in pieces. Christine finds her peace. Meanwhile, Christine and David moved forward with quiet strength. No headlines, no scandal, just family game nights, hikes and birthdays surrounded by laughter. One evening, Truly walked in holding her mom's phone and said, "Mom, you're trending again." Christine laughed and shook her head. "Let them talk. I'm busy living." Mimi their final words. To the audience, Christine reflected on it all. The betrayal, the trial, the chaos. And realized something. It wasn't Robyn who destroyed her. It was silence. But now, I'm not just free from the marriage, she said. I'm free from the lie that I wasn't enough. She leaned into David's shoulder as Truly snapped a photo, laughing, healed, and stronger than ever. Christine had discovered the one thing Robyn's plan could never purchase. Her voice.